from research, I run across the book called The Raw Food Diet Detox, and that, after reading that book, totally changed my outlook. So after reading the book, The Raw Food Detox Diet, changes started almost like immediately. Number one, I burst through my plateau. I lost 10 pounds, and I was so freaking excited about that. I mean, my digestion improved, my skin got a lot clearer. I started to have a lot of endurance doing my cardio workouts, and all of a sudden I just had these bursts of energy throughout the day, and in the afternoons, like after I had lunch, before I started eating this way, I would feel like very sluggish after I ate. I have the itis that we all talk about, but after reading that book, no more itis, no more sluggish afternoons for me. There was even times where I would be in the kitchen at my office, and I'd just be hopping from one leg to the next, just hopping for no reason, because I had all this energy just from following this book. And the concept of the book was really simple. Raw into dinner. I had raw food all the way up into dinner. So throughout the day, I ate nothing but fruit and vegetables. That's it. Not cooked. You heard me right. Raw fruit and vegetables. And then at dinner, I had a sensible dinner. And since I was staying away from meat but only eating fish, every once in a while I have fish with my dinner. It was no big deal. And this changed my world dramatically. So following this particular diet gave me the freedom to eat dinner with with my friends, and with my family, because it was okay for me to eat meat at dinner if I chose to, but at that point I decided I didn't want to go back to eating turkey, or chicken. I was just gave it completely up. Every now and again, I would eat some fish, but I would only eat, salmon. So, because I'm learning all this, learning all this information, and my body's going through all these changes, my research started to continue, because I felt that there was something with eating raw food, but I could not quite put my finger on it. So I started reading different blogs of raw foodists. I started watching YouTube videos of some of the raw food gurus here on YouTube, and I ran across the 80-10-10 method. And there was another book out there called 80-10-10 by Doug Graham, and at that point I had to make a decision whether or not I was going to buy another book to add on to the information that I had already consumed. I mean, guys, I had so much information that I didn't want to get overwhelmed even more so than what I already was. I had found something that was working for me. I was seeing results, but I just wanted to go a little further. I wanted to lose just a little bit more weight. So I decided not to read the book 80-10-10, because I thought it would just add on to the confusion. But the more and more that I ran across people who talked about eating raw food and how the book 80-10-10 helped them out, I ended up falling prey, and I decided that I was going to read the book 80-10-10. So after reading the book 80-10-10, I pretty much did not read it from cover to cover like I did the other two books. A lot of the statistical information and why not to eat meat, I didn't read those particular chapters, because I've done a lot of research, so I knew all those things. But the how and the why to eat raw, that's what I read, and that's what I consumed. And the concept was pretty simple. Just eat raw fruits and vegetables. That's it. But you had to eat raw fruit and vegetables in an abundance, so you couldn't just eat just one banana for breakfast, an apple as a snack, 10 cherries for lunch. you couldn't do that. You know, these people were eating pounds and cases of oranges and cases of dates and cases of bananas, you know. So you really had to eat, and the book wasn't about counting calories, you know, and that was fascinating to me. So I decided to, you know, stick to the raw food diet as much as I could, and I went completely raw for about 6 months. I followed the book as much as I can. I was grocery shopping maybe 2-3 times, you know, a week, because I had to, you know, like change my body, get my body into the habit of eating, you know, 2 pounds of bananas for breakfast, because I went from eating a half or 1 banana to eating 1 or 2 pounds of bananas, you know, and that was a big difference that, you know, that I had to get used to. So once I, you know, followed the raw food diet, you know, for those 6 months, I lost another 6 pounds. And oh my God, it was like the heavens had opened up. I was down to 130 pounds. I'm down to 130 pounds now, as a matter of fact. And that's my high school weight, guys. I haven't been 130 pounds in a long time. My heaviest that I've ever been was like 150, 155, and I'm only 5'2", so 150, 155 pounds may not be a lot for some of you, but on a short, petite person, you know, 150 and 130, there's a big difference there, you know. And when I got down to 130 pounds just by eating raw food, you know, I was on, you know, raw foods, I started to experience even more energy than when I was just following the raw food detox, you know, diet. And then I started to look, you know, slimmer, you know, so I wasn't just losing weight, but I was, you know, slimming down. And then, you know, I started to realize that my sugar cravings, you know, were like non-existent, you know, because before I started, you know, on this journey, after I had lunch, you know, around 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, maybe even 3 o'clock, you know, I would get a sweet tooth. But now, after being, you know, on raw food for so many months, I had no more desire to eat candy. You know, I can go to a grocery store and be in the checkout line, you know, next to the register, and sit there and see a Kit Kat and not pick it up, and not even want to pick it up. You know, didn't even have a desire to even eat it, you know. And that was from eating all the sugar. I mean, because my body was already getting sugar, so there was no need to crave it, you know, because fruit has sugar. So if I'm already, you know, eating, you know, the sugar that my body knows how to, you know, to digest and knows how to use, there was no need for me to, you know, crave the artificial sugars. And that's just like, you know, blew my mind when I, you know, just so happens to notice one day, like, wow, I haven't had any. And so, you know, today, after being on raw food, you know, for so long, guys, and, you know, I recently decided to, you know, switch up my eating habits a little bit, and that was because I ran into another plateau. You know, like I said before, when eating raw food, you have to eat raw food in an abundance of food. Like I said, you no longer are eating 1 apple a day. You may be eating, you know, a case of apples in a day, and buying all that food is expensive, you know, because you don't want to just eat you don't want to just eat any type of fruit. You want to eat quality fruit. Organic fruit is what the book suggests, and we all know that organic is a little bit more expensive. So I started, you know, not eating enough calories, you know, within the day. And when I noticed that I wasn't, you know, eating enough calories, you know, my energy level started to, you know, to slide a little bit. You know, I wasn't as energetic as I used to be. You know, I was feeling, you know, a little sluggish. You know, I figured out a way to make it work, which is what I'm doing now. You know, I did have some setbacks, you know, when I couldn't consume as much, you know, the fruit that, you know, I needed to consume for the day. You know, I may have a dish meatless, but I may have a dish that, you know, had cheese in it, you know. And guys, I have been away from cheese and dairy for so long that if I had something with cheese in it, the next day I was 100% bloated, you know.